Yet another classic case of putting off a job for a long time because you think it's going to take you a long time. That's working again. Up on the roof to do the Christmas lights. I've just taken all the old ones off. A lot of the clips had perished and broken, so I've got to go find the others. Looks like rain, a misty rain over on that side of the ridge, and I'm expecting it to come and hit me. So I'll go find these clips. So it was one of those mist rains hitting me. I didn't even realise I was getting wet, but everything else up here is. I want to pick up these old ones that are broken. See all my footprints. That's when I started realising, especially here, that it was wet up here. Definitely looks like rain over there now. Actually, I can see it right in front of my eyeballs now. So, go and climb down and hope that the leather's not too slippery. It's just a little way down. It's just holding the ladder on in case it got too windy. Tuesday morning, second last week of term. It's fairly traditional for every year group to have some form of a reward excursion at the end of the year. And there's a little bit of disruption because it's a lot of cover required for staff and that sort of thing in the afternoon or during the day. So the decision was made last year, or maybe it was earlier this year, the reward excursions for the school, every year group would have them on the exact same day. Planning went into book places for things to go to and book buses or trains, or well, you don't have to book a train, but you know what I mean. Everything sort of got organised, and the decision was that every head teacher would get to select where they would go, And I don't remember if staff got to select or whether they just got basically randomly placed. I think they got to select as well. But once it sort of filled up, it sort of got shuffled around. So it was like first in, best dressed. I originally put down to go down to Coogee Beach with the year 11s because it's a year group that I've had the most time with, really. Mainly because I see them the most often when they're there. One of the other head teachers had asked if we could swap. Now, I wasn't sure what she was going to, so I checked with the admin head and said, what excursion is this one person going on? And they said, year 10, they're going to Sydney Olympic Park to the aquatic centre, so pools. Yeah, all right, let's swap. So I'm going with year 10. Year 11 would have been catching a bus from school, like a coach, down to Coogee and back. Year 10, we are meeting at Mount Druitt train station and jumping on trains to go down. Now the trains are Mount Druitt through to Lidcombe, and then change trains at Lidcombe to get on the special track that goes across to Olympic Park. So I made sure I had money on my Opal card. I got a message from the Year 10 year advisor this morning. Could I please bring my department purchasing card, because they checked with the principal, could we pay at the venue rather than having it invoiced through the school because it's so late in the year. 7:40 now, hopefully I'll be there. We're meant to try and be at the train station by 8:20. We want the kids to be there by 8:30. I'm hoping that the parking down there is the same as it used to be. School will have no students and no teachers or support staff. The only staff that will be there will be office staff and the executive. Quiet day for them. Trying to avoid the glare. There's a lot of tadpoles in there. They're doing well. Friday evening, end of the second last week of school. This week, busy again. Wednesday, Arvo, we had a community Christmas event at the school, and there was stalls and music and local service providers again, and an art show and everything like that, and colouring in competition for the kids and games, and it was a good afternoon and a really good turnout for it. So it went from like 3:30 to 6:30 Thursday. Oh, year 10 graduation in the morning. Today, just a regular day at school, extremely hot. Tonight is the staff Christmas party. The staff Christmas party is we call it fancy dress. You could call it cosplay. My wife says it's costume party. In Australia, it was called a fancy dress party. She said that was more getting dressed up in a suit and stuff, and I said, well, that's a formal dinner or dinner party or whatever. So this is cosplay, I guess, and each faculty was coming up with what they wanted to do. I wasn't originally going, but the two guys who were organising it cornered me on playground duty on Wednesday and twisted my arm and got me to come along. So that meant that between Wednesday lunchtime and this afternoon, I had to come up with my costume to suit our faculty, which was wrestling. One of the staff is going as Hulk Hogan, another one John Cena, one's going as a referee, one of the others is going as Nacho Libre. I was looking online for inspiration. I was just like, I don't know, got my combat boots on, some tight red leggings, a black singlet, I got a leather jacket, well, my faux leather jacket, a hat to go with that, and the wrist thingies that you seem to see them all wearing. These are some old socks. My wife said to wear a baseball cap because originally I had a beanie on with the flames on it. Looked really good, but my head was going to cook because it's quite hot still. The jacket's just going to be on for the entrance, I think. And I made myself a championship belt. So that's the cosplay part of it, I guess. I'm going to be arriving late. Had to make sure the dogs were fed and that Batman got his medicine before leaving. We're having it at they booked out a community centre, which is why they're doing the fancy dress, as opposed to having it at a restaurant or something like that. If you go and have it at a restaurant, you got to leave by the time they close. Bit of fun. I definitely do not have the physique of a wrestler, unless he's a wrestler past his prime. Monday, the last week of school. We've got 3 days with the students, and then the last 2 days professional development days, like staff development days. Saturday, super hot day. I managed to get the front yard mowed and got the whippersnipper out as well and cleaned up around the place. So the front yard looks decent. It took a lot out of me. I had to keep stopping, taking a rest in the heat and that sort of thing, but I wanted to make sure I got it done. We had fire practice training at 10 in the morning, and it was in full gear. So helmet, gloves, goggles, jacket, everything. New uniform, definitely cooler than the older one. Just doing those bits in the yard took a long part of a very long part of the day, from about 11:30 onwards. Laundry done in between things, so it wasn't a complete waste. Then Saturday night, about half hour before he was due for his seizure medication, Sam had a massive seizure, a really big one that went for longer than the others. Finally came out of it, he was quite out of it, but then he just started howling and crying. A lot of people are skeptical about the amount that dogs can understand, but it all depends on the way you train them. And my wife always talks to our dogs as you would talk to a young child. So teaching them, she teaches them in body parts: eye, nose, mouth, ears, that sort of thing. Owie. And Sam in particular, if you got what he was thinking, or you like, he would lick your face, he'd lick your nose to say yes, or if you're holding him, he'd lick your arm or something like that. And she kept asking him what he wanted, what was wrong. And then she asked him, like, do you have an owie? And he gave her one lick on the nose. And she pointed, like, touched at the top of his head, because the tumour he's got is right behind his right eye. And she said to him, Sam, have Owie here, and he licked her more. And then she said, does Sam want to go to the doctor? Sam want Mum to take Sam to the doctor. And he licked her nose again, a lot, and then he got off the bed and went straight down the stairs to the door. This was at 11:30 at night. So we called the emergency hospital down in Penrith again. He just wouldn't stop howling the whole time. When we got down to the hospital, as soon as we walked through the doors, because he'd been there before, he settled down, because he knew that that's where I took him when he'd eaten that the chocolate muffin, and he had to be induced and medicated. So they read his report from his scan, and they said there's a chance that, being that the seizure was a lot bigger, it could have moved the tumour, because the tumour isn't actually attached to the brain. It's not part of the brain. It's in there pushing the brain. They gave him a shot for the pain and gave us a second seizure medication. They said that second seizure medication, in conjunction with the other one, can make him a bit groggy. And I botched his dose yesterday and gave him a bit too much. Really made him groggy. So I had to sort of carry him everywhere and that sort of thing. But as it was wearing off, because they say to do it equal times, as it was wearing off, he'd start doing the, crying, I'm in pain type thing. My wife's going to try and get in touch with our vet today to see what's next, and take it from there. I gave him the correct dose this morning, and he was moving around. That was the thing. Last night he got up, this was about 12:30, and like he was crying to her, and she goes, oh, do you want a drink? And she put him down to get a drink. Next thing you know, he's over at the stairs, and he starts going down the stairs, and he tumbled down the stairs, and my wife yelled at me for me. I jumped up and ran downstairs, and he wasn't down in the lounge area. Ran to the back door. He was already down in the yard going to the toilet. So who knows if he tumbled down the back stairs as well. His back legs are the worst ones, that it's like, because they fall out from under him, it makes it a little hard for him to steady himself generally. But yeah, a big fear is like he's pacing a lot when he does get down, which is exactly what our previous dog did that had a brain tumour, an undiagnosed brain tumour. And the crying that he was doing, it's like he'll do a whimper to say, oh, like it's dinner time, oh, it's time for me to go out, oh, like it's carrot time, that sort of stuff. He'll do a little whimper. But he was howling, and he doesn't howl. So that we know he's in pain.